Hi, I'm Russell Wheatland, and I'm the current convener of the Australian panel AU B1, focusing on insulated cable systems. It's my privilege today to make this report to the Australian Technical Council on the activities of the International Study Committee B1 and the Australian panel over the last 12 months. As we know, CIGRE is the international network of technical expertise, and the B1 focuses on insulated cable systems, looking at the whole life cycle of that system. And we've been doing so since 1927. The two technical fields of activity are AC and DC insulated power cables, transmission, distribution, generation on land and in submarine applications. And the second is the power cable systems associated with renewables, distributed resources. I thought a brief history might be good. In 1927, we were designated Study Committee 2. Then we became Study Committee 21, and then in 2002 we became Study Committee B1. In 2017 we celebrated 90 years of existence. For the 75th anniversary, the chairman recalled that the insulated cables were addressed by CIGRE from the very beginning, starting with the discussion in the 1921 session under the heading Construction of Lines and the subheading Underground and Submarine Lines. And it's interesting that the three main subjects talked about there, utilisation and electric constants and afterlaying tests, are still central to our activities now, nearly 100 years later. CIGRE Paris this year was online again due to COVID. A panel of 6 people directed the general discussion meeting over 2 days. And the study committee meeting was held away from the Paris venue, entirely online, and held during 2 6-hour sessions, again over 2 days. I say days because they were the daytime for the Europeans, but it meant some very late nights for the Australians and some very early mornings for the Canadians and the US people. You can see from these photos there is a wide variety of international people involved. Some quick statistics: country participation in the task force and working groups. France has got the majority, as you would expect, with CIGRE being a French organisation. Then you've got European and the US and Canadian, and then you have Australia with a very, very healthy 22. That's 22 of our people in the B1 Australian panel involved in international task force and working group. The number of experts is steadily rising, sitting at 461 at the moment involved in the B1 activities. It's good to see the gender diversity also increasing, as well as the young engineers uptake. Affiliations with manufacturing and utilities, consultants, institutions and universities. It's good to see so many people from the utility involved. The scope of the B1, I thought it would be good just to remind us of the second lines here: theory, design, applications, manufacture, installation, testing, operation, maintenance and diagnostics, different techniques for land and submarine, AC and DC insulated cable systems. A full, comprehensive look at cable systems, right from the start, right through to the end. 3 preferential subjects for 2022: learning from experiences, future functionalities and applications, and towards sustainability. Publications: every working group needs to deliver a technical brochure and a tutorial. And here are what was released in 2020, 3 technical brochures on these subjects, plus also an article in the Future Connections. So as you can see, and these are the 2021s, the plans, as you can see, there's quite a variety of subjects that is being tackled. Green books are CIGRE's state-of-the-art flagship reference publications, and B1 is not shy on producing these, and we've done so, and one that was put out in 2014 has just been published in the Chinese language. And you can see here, this is the latest accessories for HV extruded cables. In future green books, cable system design and current rating calculations. It's worthy to note that there's a lot of work happening in working groups at the moment on current ratings, ready to set a new foundation for the new IEC standards. A task force is typically a 12-month assignment to develop a scope of works around a particular subject. If the task force agrees that there's sufficient merit to create a working group, which is typically a 3-year assignment, the task force convener will submit that scope of works to the study committee for discussion and decision. At the end of 2021, the study committee B1 has 19 active working groups, 4 active joint working groups, and 4 active task forces, 27 in total, and Australia and New Zealand has representatives on 21 of these, which is an outstanding involvement. New task force plans, 4 working groups and 2 task forces. And you can see medium voltage, as CIGRE has now opened from just transmission, now reaching end to end. Latest tutorials that were issued, 6 of those, and thermal monitoring, trenchless technology, sheath voltage limiters, fault location, update on service experience and standard designs. And we've created a website that people can have a look at these technical brochures. So please why not check it out? Moving from the International Study Committee now to the Australian panel, which continues to grow. Currently we have 37 members, picking up 4 new representatives in the last 12 months. And it's an exciting time for the Australian panel. The Australian panel has representatives from both Australia and New Zealand due to the link needed with transmission companies, and there's very limited transmission companies in New Zealand, so they've linked themselves with the Australian panel so that they can talk expert to expert. CIGRE's broadened approach, end-to-end expertise now has started to take in the medium voltage and even low voltage cable systems to add the expertise. It's been my privilege over the last 12 months to work with the CIGRE New Zealand to establish the New Zealand B1 panel, and that is now the convener of the New Zealand panel is now an observer member of the study committee, meaning that there's a direct link straight into the study committee, which is fantastic news. There's considerable cable activity throughout both countries. We did have plans to run a 2-day conference. With so much cable activity happening in the different countries, we felt that there was a great lack of understanding of what needed to be addressed when dealing with cables. So we were going to run some seminars, but COVID put a stop to that. So we created some web tutes covering cable design, ratings, installation and testing. And we've done 4 so far, and they've been very well received. Extended involvement with the NGN, the next generation members, have certainly been welcomed into the Australian panel. And these are the 5 topics of interest that we put to the international group, and I'll let you read those. The AORC is something that we hold very dearly. We championed and actually formed the AORC B1 committee, and we chaired it for the first 10 years of its existence. These are the countries that are involved in the AORC, and together with New Zealand B1, we're trying to spearhead an incentive to start to include some of the other islands around Australia and New Zealand that, as you can see, are missing out on the AORC at the present time. And I'd like to finish with just the listing of the working groups that we're involved in and the people that are representing the Australian panel on those working groups and task forces. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank them for their volunteering to be part of this, and it's a privilege, but it's also a responsibility, and I'd just like to say thank you to all of those. You can see from the topics of the working groups that there's a wide variety of things that are being tackled. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it. Thank you.